The National Secretary of the African Democratic Party, the ADC, Ralph Aregbesola, has challenged President Bola Tinubu to publicly commit himself to conducting free, fair and transparent elections in the 2027 general polls. Now, the former governor of Osun State said this at the launch of a book authored by ADC spokesman Bolaji Abdullahi titled The Loyalty. A Rise News correspondent files this report.
It's the public presentation of The Loyalist, a memoir by the National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Party, ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, who is also a former sports minister. As expected, it is attracting bigwigs from the opposition coalition. One at a time, the opposition figures take to the podium, with the governing All Progressives Congress becoming the primary target of discussions. The National Secretary of the ADC, Ralph Aregbesola, challenges President Bola Tinubu to publicly commit himself to conducting free, fair, and transparent elections in the 2027 general polls. Downplaying the defection momentum, the former governor of Osun State cautions that the defection of governors to the APC would not guarantee electoral victory if elections are genuinely conducted
in this country, and the results from that election never support this particular belief. In the first instance, I thought about saying, if the party to which the governors are defecting are so sure, let them commit to a free and fair electoral process and see what will be the result. That's the first solution. The second solution is to say, and I'm going to use result from two zones. Just two zones to puncture this argument that when you have governors with you, you are sure of victory. I will use result from two zones. I can use for all zones.
Author of the book, Bolaji Abdullahi, warns that while Nigerians are ready for change, the political class is yet to demonstrate the unity required to deliver free and fair elections. Abdullahi also urged opposition leaders to come together, cautioning that disunity could weaken their chances of success.
I was in Delta some weeks to the end of last year. The people at the airport who recognized me came to me and said, please, we know you. You people must not fail. And I get that everywhere I have gone. And I'm sure you also get it. But sirs, I'm making this appeal. Please come together more. Let our followers direct their passion into the ADC.
Special guest of honor and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says the book challenges Nigerians to rethink loyalty in public life. He calls on politicians to show loyalty to a great cause to reposition the country.
I think this is, if there is anything that has happened much more positively to the development or political development of our country, is the emergence of this coming together of various political leaders to rescue this country from, I think, the worst administration I have witnessed in my nearly 4 decades.
Those also in attendance include ADC National Chairman and former Senate President David Mark, former governors Rotimi Amici, Kayode Fayemi, Peter Obi, Leah Limoke, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, as well as Speaker of the former House of Representatives and his ex-deputy, Senator Aminu Tambuwal and Emeka Ihedioha. Mary Chinda, Rise News.
Well, for more on the African Democratic Congress race to the 2027 election and the internal prelude in the build-up to the general elections in 2027, we're joined live online from our Lagos studio by Mr. George Ashiru, who is the chairman of the African Democratic Party, African Democratic Congress, I beg your pardon, in Lagos State. Thank you for joining us live on Daybreak on Arise News, Mr. George Ashiru.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, especially for the correction on our party name, African Democratic Congress.
We said
Thank
it
you.
first,
And
actually.
to the ladies, good morning.
Okay, now going into the heart of the story, your scribe raised concerns about the handling of the democratic space and talked about the defection that the governors alone would not win elections for the 2027 elections. What do you make of such statement? Do you think the ADC as the rescue party have that political will, the mandate and the resources to make a clear difference come 2027?
I think the most important thing we all need to realize is that ADC is a child of circumstance. Nigerians just woke up one morning and they are paying 4 times, 5 times, 10 times for the price of fuel. They're paying more to get their products in from abroad. They're paying more in taxes. Everything has gone up, and they are asking, who is going to be our Moses? Who's going to be our Joshua? What's going to happen? Are we going to continue like this? So did we run away from, mismanagement and maladministration from previous governments, including the military, only for us to pay the costs as individual citizens? And then done without empathy even from the ruling class. And I think what we have done is that all of the patriots, all of the people that believe in this country said it's time for all of us to get together under one coalition, adopting the party ADC, African Democratic Congress, and bring forth this alternative, what we call the credible alternative, that will begin to resolve the issues that Nigerians are facing on a day-to-day basis. So we're not just a party of convenience that just wants to come together because we're looking for power. We're listening to the people. And if you go around the streets, if you look around and ask just the average Nigerian, they'll be asking you that, look, we need any form of change. And most so when the change is credible, that's what we represent. And I believe that what my boss, the National Secretary, said is a reflection of him being in government in the past, understanding the language of the people. People are suffering. Abraham Maslow told us that the first need of the average human being is food, clothing, shelter. Now, there was a time 50% of the people who are living under the poverty line is gone up to about 60%, but according to UNDP. So as we're getting poorer, the government is getting richer. The governors are getting richer. Do you think the people like it like that? It's not a good ratio, my brother.
All right. Let's look at Lagos State. ADC is still a fringe party, or considered a fringe party in Lagos politics when compared to PDP or Labour Party or the APC, for instance. The party also has contested in Lagos elections in the past and didn't make much impact. What will your party do differently between now and 2027 that convinces voters that it has a solid chance in Lagos politics?
Yeah, well, I will have to disagree vehemently when you say ADC is a fringe party. You might say ADC was a fringe party. All of the people in Labour Party that you are referring to are now in ADC. All the governorship candidates is in ADC, deputies, ADC. All of the critical people in ADC. By Tuesday next week, all the Obedience and Labour Party leaders across the whole state are coming into ADC. All the Labour former chairman of PDP, all of them in Lagos State are now in ADC. The former minister, board of trustees, member of PDP in Lagos, they're all in ADC. ADC is now indeed, in fact, the largest party in Lagos. We are not in power, but in terms of membership and in terms of people. So that was a misnomer in reality. Anybody who's been following the news will know that the strength and the size of ADC Lagos is alarming. How do you know? When we started having our public programs, the government of Lagos had to send police to stop ADC programs in Alimosho, in Mushin, in Ojo, in Ibejuleki. Anywhere ADC was gathering, police would come in there and prevent us from sitting down. If we were not a threat, if we were not that large, why would the resources of the federal government be put in the name of the Lagos State governor to come and prevent a ruling opposition party from having a voice? So it's actually the other way around. The momentum is, as I say, the advantage is going in the direction of ADC. The momentum is moving in the direction of ADC in Lagos State. Even if you go to other states, they will tell you ADC Lagos is the fastest growing member of this coalition across the 36 states, because we started early and we brought in all the big wigs. Everybody that matters in Lagos politics is looking at direction, including even the indigenes themselves. So our problem is not our size. The most important thing is what Malam Bolaji Abdullahi said. He said, let us come together and in unity be able to direct the momentum that is coming our way, because we need to deliver for the people. It's not just about getting power, but it's about providing the right kind of service in a patriotic manner, for that matter.
Okay, now despite all that you have said very glowingly about the ADC, can ADC truly challenge the APC in Lagos? And if so, how?
Well, to start with, you mentioned Labour Party. Labour Party won the last presidential election. That Labour Party is now in ADC. Labour Party produced 4 members of House of Reps in Lagos out of the 24. Those 4 are now in ADC. So the fact is, the momentum, like I said, is shifting already in the direction of ADC, because now it's no longer just ADC. It is ADC as a legacy party. It is a whole of the strength of Labour in the extraction of Labour, I should say, not that the party Labour itself has come to us. All the critical aspirants, all the leaders, chairmen of the wards and the local government have all come into ADC. Peter Obi's coming has brought in all the obedience, and non-indigenes have also come because they are supporting all these various national individuals into ADC. So if there's ever been any serious threat to the ruling government in Lagos, this is actually the first time that because it combines 2 or 3 of their worst adversaries. We are looking at PDP. So if you have the leadership of the PDP in Lagos and all their followers coming to ADC, then you have the entire candidacy of Labour coming to this same party. Then this coalition means that the very best of the rest are in one single pot. It's a bigger problem for them. It's a strategic headache. And you can see from the various moves they are making to try and push people to register in the party, offering them all kinds of carrots, collecting private details of people in order to register into the party. And even the data does not even assist them. The data is showing that all the new registrants that the ruling party is getting in Lagos is still in the area of tens of thousands, rather than millions that we assumed. We are still ahead of that. So I think this is the motion and the movement that goes in the direction of the desires of the people of Lagos. That's what we represent in ADC. When you say we are speaking glowingly, I mean, just Google and it will tell you some of these things are not simply, it's just me giving you facts, data, information about where we're going. That is the sentiment of the people change. That's because politics is emotional. People change. But because of the daily experience of the average Lagosian, they were just looking for a credible alternative to go for. And the movement started a few years ago and is definitely going in our direction.
Mr. George Ashiru, you said that the ADC in Lagos is growing at a very fast rate, which is quite impressive. But isn't that a recipe for a recycle of old wine in new bottle, just a recycle of the old politicians that questions the new leadership agenda that you're professing? And a lot of people also feel that ADC needs to put its house in order at the central level with supporters of Atiku and supporters of the obedient at loggerhead. That seems to be tearing the party apart. Do you have an internal reconciliatory mechanism that would address all this issue before 2027 elections?
Actually, I see that in a good light. That's passion. It's like when we're having, when the British are playing, and you have Manchester United, you have Liverpool, and their fans are very passionate. But when England is playing, all of the best of Manchester, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're in one team. And the whole of the British supporters are supporting England. So it's the same thing. The passion that our members are showing because of their preferred aspirants is actually proper democracy. It's not Baba Sokwe or, pass down the candidate that somebody will pick and select and everybody line up behind him. We are practicing true democracy. We are allowing people to voice their interests, their passions, but they still have to do their work when it's time for primaries. So I don't see anything wrong with all of the passions. Now, old wine in new bottle cannot work either, because you are talking in a pyramid that all of this new old wine are just like 2% of the entire size of the party now. We have a lot of young people that are joining. These young people cannot be pushed around. They are very passionate. They know what they want. There's no leader that's going to tell them go the wrong way and they will follow. And that is why it's such a beautiful mix, because we have checks and balances within the system. We don't have one person having the upper hand. We don't have people coming from one aspirant and is the one controlling the party. We have multiple aspirants, multiple supporters, and what we need to do is the principle of transition management within an organization. When organizations merge and acquire each other and all that, then you have to go into the principle of change management. And that depends on the skill of the leaders. One of the things which I try to apply using my corporate background to ensure this is done in a seamless, smooth way, getting the best of everybody without dousing their passion. So I don't see the problem here. I think I like this because this is a reflection of the way Nigeria is. If we can manage it at the end, it shows we can manage this nation.
And so I really want to stay on that influx that you talked about and how you said it helps the party. One of the biggest threats or problem for the opposition is the lack of ability to join forces and instead present different heavyweights in the ballots. This happened in 2023 and handed power to the APC. Are we certain, or share with us the plan, are you certain that this will not happen again in the 2027 elections? It's looking like it, because the elections are how many months away? I mean, barely how many years away? It's next year, so there is no time. And from what we are seeing, it doesn't look like the party has cleaned out that process that ensures that you really have one person that everybody can coalesce behind.
But that will be undemocratic, because essentially what you're saying is that the party should be automatically handed over to a particular person as an anointed candidate. This is exactly why it's not the right kind of politics to have, a single. If you are already the ruling party and you already have a president and you want to endorse your president to continue, it's a completely different matter when it comes to when you are in the opposition. So we cannot have an anointed candidate this early in our process. It is wrong, it is undemocratic and improper. What we want to do is throw the primaries open. So all of this mix, see, in the last election, the top three came from three different parties. The second and the third are now in one party. That's the difference. So they're not contesting against each other. They're actually part of a partnership. So that gives us a definite advantage. So take Atiku's votes, take Obi's vote. They are now in one single party. So all they need to do is now convince the delegates of the party to say, I am the better choice. I have the better chance, or the best chance of winning against the ruling party. And that's an internal process we are going to go through. We have to go through it. That is democracy. And we will come out of it. The fact that they have taken the risk to leave whatever parties they belonged to come into this party means a conversation has gotten on, behind the scenes. And they've come to an understanding that, look, we're better together than apart. That in itself is something that we need to applaud.
Well, earlier in the conversation, you touched on the daily experience of the average Lagosian. So now I ask you, what is ADC's plan for jobs and cost of living, especially in Lagos?
I think it's about prioritization in the budget process. If you look at some of the noises being made recently about how the budget of Lagos State seems to have, by the time they itemized it, there seems to be a lot of giveaways to the members of the State Assembly in terms of cars and generators and houses in Abuja and things like that. This is what we mean by budget prioritization. So if as a government, we are declaring a budget of 4.4 trillion, where is our focus? So when the government decides that it's going to take 6 trillion, 7 trillion of our money and put it on one single road, but he has not, or they have not been able to deal with the issue of the income per capita, the poverty level that UNDP is talking about on an individual level. That means the government is focused on legacy rather than day-to-day standards of living of the people. What we would do differently is take the prioritization from all these highfalutin projects, building elitist projects in Banana Island, in Eco Atlantic City, and pour the money into the inner city, into the people. into the right kind of education for our young persons, in healthcare for our elderly persons, creating opportunities in the digital space for our young people to grow, and invest in what produces SMEs, and invest in what produces even greater middle class, because then wealth is properly spread. So we can't have a situation where we're making more money, but the money is still in the hands of just a very few. And this is really about the heart of the leader. One of the things I always say is this: the only duty of a leader is to love his people. Because the moment you love your people, the prioritization in terms of expenses will be like that of a father that came across 10 million naira. And his first priority is to buy a car when school fees of his children are not being paid. We are not going to make that mistake of always catering to the interests of powerful blocks and rich people. We're going to redirect the resources of government to the poor, to the needy, to the weak, to the young, to ensure that there's equity in the way that our economy grows. And so more people are lifted out of poverty. And the country grows as a result of that. Our GDP is going to skyrocket. So it's just about prioritization. That's what we will do differently.
Now, going back into the internal affairs of the African Democratic Congress, some political analysts have said that any political party should ignore zoning process at its own peril. And we saw this as one of the causes of the rancor in PDP. So within the APC rank and file, there have been strong call for zoning. Some have said that it should be zoned to the south because they feel that the south should have the 8-year cycle completed, while some are saying that it should go to the north. And as part of those advocating for a zone to the south are the obedient movement that are saying obedient or nothing. Where is your stand? What do you stand for? Do you stand, would you accept zoning? Would your party accept zoning formula?
Okay, thank you very much. The party has not even gotten to the point of discussing whether or not it wants to be repeating other parties' principles, the concept of zoning. I've heard Malam Bolaji Abdullah and a couple of our leaders say over and over again that we are more interested in building a unified party than to already start dividing ourselves into representational leadership. So the issue of zoning has not been discussed. Seriously, we are looking at competence first. We are looking at who can Nigerians look up to. You know, when Obama won the presidency of America, nobody thought a black man in this generation will win. Everybody thought, no, the people would prefer to have a white person.
That bold decision? Is your party not scared of taking that bold decision, taking responsibility for that bold decision, whether to adopt zoning or not?
No. Because getting to the point of making that decision means everybody must have a voice. And this is a coalition of everybody. So we have the Northern Bloc very strong there, the Southeast, the South-South, the Southwest. So which zone is going to come and then say, no, I want to impose my own will on the others? No, it's a negotiation, it's a conversation, it's a discussion. And I think that will be ongoing amongst our leaders in Abuja, and we will follow through with whatever they decide. But I think for me personally, I will always put competence above representation. Representation is fine when it comes to making sure everybody's part of what we're doing. But in terms of leadership, we don't want to keep this 65-year-old mediocrity of running around meandering as never been great but being called great, because we would never let the right people lead us. We will always look for somebody that looks like us, speaks like us, talks like us, goes to the same religious assembly as us, but doesn't know what the hell they're doing. It's about time, when we see credible alternatives, it's about time for us to also look at competence. We should start asking questions. What are you going to deliver? What policies do you have? What is your antecedent? Those are critical things that we should be asking, in addition, to everything else we're talking about.
Okay, it's quite unfortunate that time is never a friend. We're pressed for time, and that's always a recurring factor here. Well, thank you so much for the insightful contributions and letting us into the ADC's race ahead of the 2027 election. Wish you the best of luck. And that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Benga Ashiru. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Constance Ikopu. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.